Good evening, everybody. How are you? It is my absolute pleasure to introduce you all to the amazing Christine Schuler Deschryver, also very affectionately known as Mama C. I know you have some information in your program, but I'll just do a brief introduction. Mama C lives in Bukavu and has just been advocating for the rights of women and girls in the Democratic Republic of Congo, just doing some extraordinary work. So thank you so much for being with here today.
Thank you and good evening.
So you've seen the show a couple times now.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, you're good. So can you just tell us what resonated for you tonight, seeing it for maybe the third or fourth time?
No more because I saw it in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think I can come every night. Well, I don't know what to say because it's so deep and. When she's talking about like girls like Jane, she's still there and she just had 11 surgery. And also the way she was fighting, Eve was fighting to survive the cancer, and I was fighting, with UNICEF to build the center. And I think that's the only way, that's the only reason she survived. Because she didn't want to abandon all of us. And it was like a dream and an achievement for her, to realize the dream that the women of Congo had. Because when she came in 2007, when she asked the women what they wanted, they didn't ask for money, they didn't ask for nice clothes, they just asked for a city of joy. And I remember because we were like a city of joy in Congo. Why that name? So they say, you asked us, what do we want? And now we have to choose the name. It was like, wow, joy.
And you've been doing so much work in the DRC before City of Joy started. Can you just talk a little bit about the challenges of getting City of Joy up and kind of how you had to convince people of the work that you did?
Yeah, I think I was also born as an activist because I was born from a forbidden wedding. My mother is Congolese, black, she was never at school. And my father was the son of the worst colonialist, Belgian colonialist. So, of course, they didn't want my father to marry. And I just saw, since I was a child, I saw my mother suffering just because she was black. So, even at school, I started, like Eve, I think that's why we have so many things in common. I started, fighting for the black people who were at the Belgian school, because I was at the Belgian school, and because I was an impossible child. So my father decided to send me to the boarding school in Belgium when I was 12.
Okay.
And yes, like Catholic school, or you become a nun.
A totally different environment.
Yeah. And so that was it. And then I worked for a big institution for 13 years. During the war, I couldn't leave Congo. I just left in 98, 96, because I'm tall, and it was the war. The war. When the war started, they thought I was half Tutsi. Because we live next door to Rwanda, so I was almost killed twice in front of my children. So I left and I spent to finish the school year with my children in Belgium. But then I decided to go back, and it was the worst time of the war, and we went back with the children. Because when I asked my mother, to go with me, to live with me, she was like, and what about my mother? She lives in a village, I cannot take her with me. So it was like, I cannot abandon my mother and all all my colleagues. So our children were studying under bombs. And I don't know, today as a mother, I feel a little bit guilty. You say guilty? A little bit guilty. But that was the time I I think I became radical because I just saw people, you know, dying, suffering. I remember because at the beginning I didn't want to meet Eve. I say Eve in French. I didn't want to meet Eve because I was so sick of celebrities. Because during the war, you know, they came with all the paparazzi and the press magazine, and you need to see all these people who pretend they came to save us.
Yeah.
So when they talked to me about Eve, I was like, no, thank you, another celebrity. So it really took time before I was in touch with her. And one day, you know, they brought 2 little girls who were raped. And I think they were 4, one was 4, and a baby. And a baby, the 6-month baby, died in my arms. So I took the piece of paper where she wrote her address, name, and phone number. And because I never responded to her emails. So I don't know why, I went to the hospital and I was crying so much. And I looked at myself, you know, in the, I don't know how you say in English, rétroviseur in French. You know,
It's like the rear view mirror?
Yes. And I really thought it was blood instead of tears. And I didn't even know who to call because all my friends, they always told me, you know, Christine, it's too much for you. Look at you, because I also became anorexia. I felt guilty, you know, like eating and people dying around me. So I was like, who am I gonna call to share, you know, those bitter tears? And then I took this piece of paper and I called Eve. She was in Haiti. I was weeping. I was like, I don't know if you remember me. She was like, of course I remember you. And then I just told her, you know, Eve, I think for the first time of my life I can kill. And then I told her the story and she told me, I'm coming, and she came. And I was still working, you know, for the big institution. So I became, because I was my own boss in Bukavu, so I gave the work to the staff and I kept like my time translating for her. And then I heard, you know, like the worst of the worst stories. I thought like the woman, the Angelique. And now just a few weeks ago, I have another Angelique at City of Joy with the same story.
Okay.
So it's very difficult, and I'm so grateful that I met this woman, because she changed. First of all, she changed my life. Because by the time she met me, I was dying. I didn't believe in myself because I wanted, you know, to change things.
Yeah.
You know, as a mother, when you bury babies, when grandmothers, I remember this grandmother, you know, sometimes when I tried to sleep, she took off her clothes and then she was looking at me. She was speechless. She was like, what are they looking? What were they looking at this dry body? So we have to live, you know, with things like this, and without having a center like City of Joy, because
where does everybody go?
Yeah, you know, it's a place of joy, because we have all those stories, but we have so much joy. We laugh all the time together with the girls. Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about how many people have gone through the center so far?
Already 1,028, so it's time. And we have amazing success stories, and I think, like Eve said, now it's time, you know, to organize something big like a conference and to talk about revolution.
Wow.
Because the change will come from the grassroots and not from the top. And that's also one of the reasons I don't believe in institutions and in NGOs, because, you know, by the time you give the money to the top, go with all the corruption. So you have to work with the people from the grassroots. Yes.
And as you're thinking about building the revolution, which we're all very excited about, what do you find are the challenges or the narratives that you have to shift in order to make the kind of change that you're wanting to make?
You know, everything that we have as a challenge is the government. Because I think we are doing the impossible, but like, we don't have electricity. Sometimes we don't have roads. We don't have water. So we have a center with, because we used to have 90 women for 6 months. So can you imagine, we don't have water with all the women. So we have to go and buy water in gallons.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how far do you have to go for that?
not too far away because we have amazing neighbors. They are Catholic priests, Italian, but they are the priests because they are amazing. They're really amazing.
And can you talk a little bit about, kind of just paint a picture for us, what your kind of typical day is? What's the in and out of your days when you're at the center?
Well, it's like a school. So we start early in the morning, and then we have a pause. And when the girls arrive, we separate them. We have 3 groups. The one who were never at school, and then like the primary school, and then some of them went to college. So the one who were never at school, they have literacy classes. Also, they have to know their rights. We have self-defense classes, nutrition classes, and ecology is also a huge part because Congo is the second lung of humanity. And so we have to teach them how to protect also Mother Nature. Because at the same time, we have another agriculture program. We bought a 300-acre farm, a V farm. Yeah, so we produce all the food, for City of Joy. And we also, of course, we use art therapy, like theater, singing, and all these. I know many people, they say, okay, like the Africans, they are born, they can sing, they can dance. But and also the idea, I have to say, I don't know if you've heard about the 1 billion rising. The idea came, when Eve was in Congo, and she saw women, injured, raped, were dancing, and the space they took. So then she got the idea that we can use a dance, to end violence. And
when people leave the center, what kind of stuff are they doing once they leave, and how long are people typically there?
They stay for 6 months, and they go back into their community. Some of them they stay in town. They go back to school, because at the beginning when they arrive, we have a formulaire. They have to talk about the dream they have. So, for example, we have the one who wanted to work in a hotel. So at the end, we realize her dream. She's working in a hotel. Yes. Other one, they want to go to school, so we send them to school. Otherwise, they go into their community and they share what they learn at City of Joy. And one of the things that is really important, by the time they know that they have rights, so everything changed. Because in Bukavu, when the father died, it's only the eldest son who has the heritage. Even if you're 13, 15, 20 children, no. And if you're a girl, forget about it.
Oldest son.
Yeah. And they live with a kid, with money, and they have communication classes. So we also give them a cell phone. So we are in touch with all of them. We do have 1,028 graduated. So we just lost the contact with 12 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So when they got married, they invite us. So we try to send a delegation because they are really like our children.
Yeah.
And now they are also partner of V-Day, to recruit other women and girls to come at City of Joy. Yeah. And we are creating, this network. And 2 years ago, at Eve's birthday, she organized a fundraising to buy lands, for women. Wow. So now they have, for example, if they come let's say they come from Boston, all the women from Boston, they have their own land, like a community. And at City of Joy, we buy food from them. So they have incomes. And some of them, after leaving City of Joy, they go to work to the farm because it was, now it's transformed pain to power to planting.
Wow, it's incredible.
And where we live, it's like Eve explained, it's one of the most beautiful places on earth, and everything grows there. So
there's lakes and there's mountains.
There's a lake, and also the climate is amazing, and Mother Nature was so generous. And that's how we teach our girls that we have to give back, to Mother Nature, and not just to take everything out of her. And so we recycle everything. We have like compost everywhere. So if you look at the garden now, it's like a garden of Eden. We have flowers, huge The vegetables, they look like GMO. You say GMO, they're so big. Just with the compost. So everything is organic and
Reused.
yeah.
Beautiful. I want to open it up. I'm sure you guys have lots and lots of questions. I'll start right here.
Yeah. How do the men in these communities respond when like the women come back and they're like, oh, you've been at City of Joy, or like what is the general response?
Bad
I'll
reaction.
just repeat the question really quickly for anybody who didn't hear. She's just wondering what the response of the men in the community is to all this tremendous work.
Yeah, of course it's a bad reaction because, women are kind of a subspecies. And by the time you stand up and you speak out, oh my God. So we have, for example, a place where, women, they are so organized and so strong. For example, if they hear that you have a problem, they all come together, in solidarity. So men, all the time, they say, oh, these women, they came from V-Day. Come from V-Day. And by the time they say, they are not polite, I'm like, okay, we succeed, program.
Do you have any allies, any male allies that are supportive in the community?
Do I have what?
Do you have any men that are supportive?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. No, we have amazing men. Even at the office, we have men who are genderized. That's the word we use. Because, also, I told them, for example, as a director, I have some rules. If I see a woman carrying and a man just sitting, then he has problems with me. Because women are queens at City of Joy. So every time they see carrying, you can see all the men coming and say, we have to carry. They're walking, like. No, we have amazing, we cannot generalize. We have amazing men. But we still have this hierarchy. Yeah, power of man.
Sir, on the corner.
I didn't notice any place could be able to donate in this brochure.
I was wondering about where to donate to City of Joy.
Yeah, I think you can go to the website and then go to City of Joy.
Direct.
Yeah.
It's cityofjoy.org. Yeah.
Do you have any franchises in the States or here, or is it all directly
Wondering if there's any other franchises or any other locations of City of Joy outside of Congo.
We have lots of demand. And I think the next City of Joy we would like to open will be in Afghanistan. And also women, and I'm so proud of that women in New Orleans, in the United States, they also want a City of Joy. So it's like, it's amazing for us because it's a program that the women of Congo created. And now many countries, because we have a new film, City of Joy, will come out very soon, and was already in festivals in the US. And many countries, they wrote to us because they want to open a City of Joy. And I really think that every city needs a City of Joy.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you. It's an honor to sit at your feet again. We were at the Barnard filming of the City of Joy film, of the documentary, and it was life-changing. Living in the greatest city in the world and the greatest country, I feel so powerless right now with our administration. Any advice and counsel? It's so difficult every day to read our papers and see what's going on.
She just has a question about the idea of powerlessness here in New York, the feeling of powerlessness, and wondering if you have any advice or thoughts for her.
About your president. No, I think we all have our problems, but you have a big problem. Because I don't know, even in Africa, sometimes I want to take him out of my mind. But even in Africa, every morning when you wake up, it's like midnight here. So every morning there's something about Trump. It seems like there's nothing going on in the world except Trump. So they don't talk about important issues. And let's not talk about me being in the US. By the time you turn on the TV, I'm still on CNN only Trump.
And it's an interesting question too about how you and Eve as well have kind of translated a sense of not knowing what to do, a sense of urgency, a sense of seeing people who have not yet known how to activate their voices and how to turn that into something very active and specific. You've built an entire city of joy. It's just thinking about what's the things that are the inspirations for you to get up and keep going every day throughout all of the challenges that you're facing.
First of all, I believe in solidarity. I believe in movement. I don't believe in politics. I don't believe in powerful, what they call powerful people. And I think, like all the revolution, didn't start, with guns. So I think we can be, if you are together, in solidarity, and it's all about friendship and sisterhood, not being alone. Because for years during the war, I have to say I was alone, and that's also one of the reasons. Like I told you, I didn't even know who to call, so I started being sick myself, because. By the time you want to change everything and you're alone, I'm just one person. No matter how tall I am, but I'm one human being,
Yeah.
And so I think it's better, sisterhood, friendship is very important. Because I can see now with Eve, like we talk to each other every single day. She's like my other me. And without her, it would have been impossible. Because first of all, she values you, and she push you, like to reach your own limits, to blossom. Because most of the people, when you're radical like us, they can say, oh my God, she's crazy. Oh, Christine again. Oh, Christine is at a meeting. Oh, you better be careful. She's so aggressive. And that's how you succeed.
Yeah, you need other people in partnership with you. Yeah. Ma'am.
Hi. I hear you in terms of being frustrated with politics, but don't we need politics to change the laws to protect the women?
She's asking about what are the limits of politics, and how much do you need politics in order to actually change the laws?
Maybe you can talk about your country, but like in Congo, we have the best laws regarding sexual abuse, but nobody's applying them because of the corruption. That's the problem. In countries like this, yes, but in country like in Congo, we are even afraid, to go to justice, because they simulate justice, and the next day you see your perpetrators on the road who threats you. So women, they don't go to justice anymore.
Ma'am, and then sir over there.
I just wanted to know, either positive or negative, what relationship the government has with City of Joy. Do they try and take credit for it? Do they try and stop you in any way? Do they encourage you? What kind of outside the walls of the City of Joy, how is the government involved? Is it at all positively or negatively?
She's just wondering about the relationship between the government and the City of Joy.
I have to say, I know that they respect our work. Because first of all, they know me they know what I did during the war for the country when we were in a rebel zone. And they know that I have no other ambitions. I don't want to be the president, or I don't want to be, somebody. I just want peace, in the country. And they see the result of our work. So every time I needed them, they gave us the help. But I don't want to be, to be friend with them, because I'm against their politic.
But they haven't obstructed or gotten in the way?
No, I had that before, because I did a film. I did a film with the French TV, about the plundering of Congo. And then I was the enemy of the DRC, Belgium, the whole world, I think, Rwanda, because all the countries were involved and are involved in the plundering of Congo, and the reason of the economic war we have.
We had a question up here.
Were there any attacks on the city?
He's wondering if there's any attacks on the city.
City of Joy?
Yes.
Never. No, never. Thanks God.
I think I saw a hand
And
over
also
here.
we do self-defense.
Yes.
What role did UNICEF play in the building of City of Joy, and do they continue to have a relationship with
We
That was a
divorced.
big sigh. She took a very big sigh. She's just wondering about the relationship of UNICEF with the City of Joy.
It's a long, complicated story, and it was an impossible wedding. You know, everything that started with UN, we call them United Nothing. I'm sorry if we have... No, I do. We do have lots of experience in Congo. You know, at the beginning, we started this campaign. It was a worldwide campaign. It was with UNICEF, and at the end, we had to build City of Joy. So they chose a contractor who couldn't do the work. And at the beginning, I told them, why don't we, oh no, this one. So they came with all the administration. So every time they started building, everything collapsed. So I don't know the money, the money they wasted. Even at the end, Eve is the one with her own money who had to finish the building. So we were like, okay, we finish the building and then leave us alone.
and
They had no choice. You know, first of all, they didn't care at all. I'm sorry to say that, because we came with plans. And I remember one day a VIP delegation, they came to visit. And then they told me, why do you need nice houses like this for women? You know, they come from a village and they will have to go, it will be a shock. And I was like, they deserve the best. Even if it's for 6 months, they deserve the best. And you have to come to City of Joy. They have the most beautiful houses. They have perfect food. They live in paradise.
I'm afraid we have to wrap up for this evening. I just want to invite everybody. There's going to be a series of talkbacks over the course of the next couple of weeks, and I know you'll be back for a couple more. So if you just bring your ticket or come to the lobby and let them know that you'd like to come for any of the talkbacks, you're more than welcome to join any of the conversations that are coming up. And please do go to the City of Joy website. You can find out more information about the documentary that's coming out and also just about the incredible work that they're doing. I just want to say a very, very special thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great night.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sammy Cannell, and I'm the Associate Director of In the Body. I am so honored to be here with Christine, otherwise known as Mama C. You know so much about Mama C from the play, and if you want to read a lot about her work, the stuffers in your program talk a lot about her work in City of Joy. But she's the director of City of Joy and Vide in the Congo. And Christine, I'd love to start by talking about your experience of the play. We often ask our guests in these post-show discussions to start by talking about what resonated for them in watching the play, but because so much of this story is your story as well, I'm wondering if you could just talk about what it's like to relive something that you lived theatrically on stage and see it now 10, 11, 12 times.
Well, it's with a lot, first of all, a good evening. It's with a lot of emotion because I really feel that I was part of the whole story, from the beginning. And I know that, because I call her Eve in French, that Eve survived thanks to the women of Congo. Because as she said, I was lying to her and she was lying to me, pretending she felt better. And I pretended that everything went well. And without City of Joy, no more Eve. Because even at the worst time of her disease, she called me every single day. Sometimes after a chemo, she talked to me, but I didn't even understand. But for me, just to hear her voice, that she was still alive, was enough. And what we did in Congo, it's something really amazing. And I really feel that every city in the world, they need to have their city of joy.
I want to rewind to towards the beginning of the play. Eve talks about how when City of Joy was in the process of being built, you were encountering all these roadblocks, and then she discovered sort of at the same time that she had a tumor in her uterus. And I'm wondering if you could talk about how that news affected what was going on in the Congo, and how her cancer affected your work there.
Well, it affected me, myself, a lot, because, we were like a small circle who knew that she was sick, and I was so honored, first of all, to be part of the circle, like with her relatives and very close friends. So I wasn't allowed to tell it to other people. So people saw me devastating because I was fighting UNICEF, and like she said, with no road, no electricity, no water, nothing, no. And at the same time, I was just worried for her not to be alive anymore. Because I remember the day she was on surgery for more than 9 hours. And for me, it was during the night, so I was waiting for that call. And after the surgery, I remember Kim, one of her best friend, she just called me, and then she passed me Eva. I just heard, so I was like, thanks God, she's alive. And it also helped me, to go on, because we promised to each other that we're gonna make it. And no, I really don't know what to say, because it's very emotional, and I really think that friendship and solidarity and kindness and love are the only one who can change the world, because she is changing, and she changed the lives of so many people. If I look at City of Joy today, we already have 1,028 graduated. And to see how the lives of all the girls change, and the revolution, because we are talking about revolution, and how they started, with the revolution in their villages. That's how we will change, the country, because I don't believe in politics. I don't believe in NGOs. I surely not believe in institution. I don't believe, and I don't respect at all, everything started with the UN. Yeah, not anymore.
We get to hear about City of Joy and the work there in the play, but the experiences in the play ended a number of years ago. I'm wondering if you can sort of update us on what's been happening at City of Joy and in Bukavu in the years since the play.
Wow, so many things, because 4 years ago we bought a farm. It's more than 300 acres, and we produce all the food for City of Joy. Like, we already produced 40 tons of rice, we have pigs, we produce honey, because part of the class is to teach the women how to protect Mother Nature. Congo is the second lung of humanity, and if we don't protect Mother Nature, so there is nothing we can do. Because if the forest of Congo, like the forest of Amazonia, disappeared, then no more lives on Earth. And also I started this whole project, with bees, because I told, only to tell people that if with no bees, I heard that we can't live more than 6 months. No more lives on Earth. So we have to combine all together, because we are talking about Mother Nature and not Father Nature. So that's, and also the bee, it's a queen who leads everything. So we started with all this project to combine the whole thing together. So at the beginning it was transform pain to power, and now it's to planting. And how to, I can see here that I know that Elizabeth, she already came 2 times in Congo, in Bukavu. So she knows how generous Mother Nature was with us. So we have to give her back. We recycle everything. We produce compost. So if you come at City of Joy, you will see it looks like heaven. We have flowers, we have vegetables, it's green. It has nothing to do with what you just saw on the back. It's really something amazing. And if you ask the girls, when they come, what's the first thing that how do I say that you notice when you're at City of Joy? It's like, oh my God, the colors, the flowers, and it's also part of the healing. It's part of the healing.
I've been reading a lot about that approach to healing, and in terms of your work in focusing that healing on art and music and the arts generally. And I'm wondering how you came to that approach generally in terms of using those things as the core of the therapy at City of Joy.
First of all, a tribute to Eve, because she's an artist. And in Africa, we live in community, so we need to have a community approach and not like this individual. Because I remember some people came to experience therapy, and I remember that girl. They asked her, "So, what was the relation with your father when you were a child?" She was like, "Oh my God, I don't know. I live with my uncle, my brother." So we don't have the same approach. And as Africans, music is something like. I'm not gonna say that we have music in our blood, but it's something we live with. When we are sad, when we go to wedding, when we go to bury somebody, it's like, music and dance is part of our culture. And using it as a therapy and also theater, because we notice that it's easier, to express yourself through art than talking to somebody.
I want to open it up to questions from you, and if you can speak loudly, what we'll do is I'll just repeat your question on the mic so that we can make sure everybody can hear it before Christine answers. Yes?
Yeah, I'm not familiar prior to tonight with the City of Joy, so can you please tell us how it began? And I would imagine that it's to really help the young women who really need the help.
The question was about how City of Joy began.
It began, Dr. Mukwege, who's a Congolese gynecologist, was invited at the UN, and they asked Eve to interview him. So when Eve met Dr. Mukwege, he told her, you have to meet a woman. Her name is Christine. And the word he used is that she's a little bit crazy like you. So when Dr. Mukwege came back to Congo, he talked to me about Eve, and he was like forcing me to meet her, but I refused. No, because I was allergic, and I'm still allergic to celebrities. Because during the war they came. I'm not gonna name them. They came, and I felt that they were bulimic of our misery. They came, with all their paparazzi, with no respect at all. And the only thing that they left me was the business card. And tell me, we are with you, we will always be. And then they disappeared forever. So I stopped welcoming, the celebrities. And also because I read about her, and just knowing that she wrote the Vagina Monologue. When I went to Belgium, so many friends, they wanted me to go and see the Vagina Monologue. After Congo, no more vaginas anymore. So I refused even to go and see the play. And one day they brought me a baby, a 6-month baby, who was raped. Her name was Isabelle. She died in my arms. And that moment when you have like almost blood tears and you have nobody to share with, because first of all you say your husband, poor husband, I shared too many things with him, and then all your friends, the only advices they had, it's like, Christine, it's too much for you, you have to give up. Look, you're becoming anorexic. You refuse to eat because people are, they don't have food around you, you have to live for yourself. So I was so sick, to hear all the advices. So I took the piece of paper and I called Eve. Because she wrote to me and I responded, I was very cold. And she was in Haiti. I was weeping, and then I told her, I don't know if you remember me. My name is Christine. She was like, of course I remember you. And then she told me, you're crying. And then I said, yes, for the first time of my life, I think I can kill. And then she told me I'm coming. And she came. And at that time, I was working for a big institution for 13 years. I left my office and I became a translator. I thought I heard the worst stories, but I wasn't. Like the last story, with Angelique, I was there. And just 2 weeks ago, before I left Congo, in this session, we have the same girl who was forced to eat her child. So we still have the same stories, and she came and she asked the woman, what do you want? And then they asked for a place to be empowered, to take back their bodies, their destinies, and to become leaders. They didn't ask for money, they didn't ask for clothes, they didn't ask for something else. They just wanted to be empowered and not to be assisted. And that's what we do at City of Joy. We help them become leaders and to take back their destinies. And from the time they leave City of Joy, the word I use is like we plant seeds of revolution for them to spread everything they learned at City of Joy.
Hi, my name is Renee. I am interested in hearing a little bit more about your plans, if any, to expand City of Joy to other countries in need. I asked for mostly personal reasons because I lived in Tanzania for 3 years, and I can relate to hearing very similar stories.
We have a new film, City of Joy. The film, I don't know, some of the people we have here already saw it. It was in different festivals, and also in France, Canal Plus. So people saw it. Watched it all around the world, so we do have lots of demand. So I think the next City of Joy, I hope so, will be in Afghanistan. And we do have so many countries, and also I'm so honored, we are so honored as Congolese women that also New Orleans in the US, they want to open a City of Joy. So can you imagine ideas from Congolese women, program created by Congolese women, and be, you say duplicated? Duplicated in the US, it's like, wow.
How can we help?
The question was, how can we help?
You have to go on our website, vday.org, and then link to City of Joy.
Yes. Yes.
Can you say what you think might be the most viable strategy for stopping the multinationals from funding the guerrilla warfare there, and what we can do to, besides donating to vday.org? What strategy you think is the most viable, and what would need to happen to make it viable?
The question was about strategies for stopping the multinationals in the Congo.
I have to say, I would like to have an answer. I did a film with a French journalist in 2004 to show the world, the involvement of all the countries. It started, from Congo to Rwanda, Canada, US, Belgium, because China, and I just made like a 2 minutes interview, but they knew I was behind the film. So I had death threat, from all the countries. And that was the time I just stopped with the press, because I was like, I still have work to do in Congo, and I didn't want to die for Congo. We do have an economic war in DRC. And by the time you start talking about the multinationals, you are almost dead. They are so powerful. So I don't know. I don't know what we can do. We continue to denounce, but it's so difficult because there are so many countries all over the world. And they just have interest. Look, even the US, Obama was the president. What did he do? We do have an Obama law. Amazing. And so what? Let me not talk about Trump. He has other problems. So that's also one of the reasons, you know, we believe in what we can do, and we focus in what we can do and how we can change the community. We don't count on politicians anymore. We are trying, you know, to convince them since years. We traveled all around the world. I think in Europe I went in every single country. I spent 10 days in the Bundestag in Germany. But at the end, I feel like I lost my time and my money.
Do one more question. Yes.
Wonderful. I have great admiration. I think you sat in front of me, actually. Were you up here? Yes. Yeah, you were in front of me. I loved it. So when I saw it, I said, that girl. So I started a nonprofit about 10 years ago, and it was an interesting experience. I worked with Shakira's organization in Colombia, and we created a training program for girls and women that was life skills and business skills. And we replicated it all over the world. And it was pretty empowering. But what you just said earlier about the women particularly want to empower themselves, but they want a goal, something to go to. And we saw that through our training. And it was, like I said, I'm just sharing the same thing. It was just super powerful. And I agree with you about NGOs. It sort of burnt me out, actually, doing it for a long time. And it burnt me out why people wanted to be involved. You're right. They kind of do a drive-by. They come in and they leave. And what you need is actually funding to continue to do the work. And so there's a lot of imposters in that space, as you well know. But the benefit was doing our program in Colombia and in Kashmir, in Pakistan, and in Indonesia. And if you ever want the program, I'd be happy to gift it to you, as they say.
Do we have a question? The last question. Yes. No? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm still processing this play. It's just amazing. And so it's more a question about the play to everyone. The way she combines the personal pain that people are going through, including herself, and pulling the lens back and seeing the pain, that societal pain, at a much bigger level. I don't think I've ever seen anything on this level. And it seems so appropriate now with a champion of sexual predator in the White House, and the need to drive that out, and the way she goes back and forth with that and the most deeply personal things. And I was hoping people could talk about that.
That's the power of art. And you know, I remember at the beginning when they diagnosed her, you know, the cancer in the uterus. It was very bizarre because she was talking about me eating my mango. Mango is my favorite fruit. But when they diagnosed, you know, her tumor, they told her it has the size of a mango. So everything was very bizarre about her cancer. Also the bags, exactly the same like the women of Congo. And I remember, you know, when her doctors, all the amazing doctors that I really know and I met several times, when they came to Congo, we went for a dinner together, and Dr. Shan told me that only 7% of the people with the same cancer survived. So Eve is part of them. And I have to tell you, when she came back to Congo, after her surgery, she was so skinny and so bold. And the doctors, they didn't want her to come to Congo, but she was like, I have to go there. So we could hardly believe that she would have survived the cancer. So everything is a miracle. And she has to be here because we still need, I think the humanity still need her. Because V-Day did a lot for humanity than all the institutions. I'm really saying it, not because I'm V-Day, but because I worked for 13 years for an institution. And I know how the money is spent in salary, in, you know, like in your comfort and everything. And maybe a quarter goes to the work. And V-Day, we don't have an office. We have no office, so we don't waste money. And the money we have is so precious. Because I remember when we did the campaign to raise money, you know, for City of Joy, I saw poor students who came and gave $5. Some of them gave $10. So it all came from young people like you. So believe me, every time we spend money in Congo, you are in my mind because I'm like, I know from where the money came.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight and for all the work that you do.